Well, there's a couple things. One, of course, is the notion of delight and surprise, to make the guest experience in our hotels very individual, very human, and very unique to that person and that environment. So whenever we can use either displayed experiences or the aura of experience, or even when combined with all senses, the idea that this place becomes instantly memorable and there's something that triggers in our time lapse experience, if you will, that is a value, because that kind of helps support guest loyalty. Beyond that, there's the idea that we have a responsibility to our guests to make every experience in our hotels very personal, very relevant to its place, and as easy as possible.
Overall, for the Marriott International, of course, we'd want guests to stay with us. For all 30 of our brands, we have an offering for anyone that has the latest in technology that comes to whether they're traveling for a business meeting and want to stay at the Gaylord, or they're staying with their friends at a resort. And so for us, it's providing those experiences across all 30 of the brands. But also when it comes to my brand in particular, Aloft, which has a pillar of technology in its overall platform for design. It's being able to provide those experiences so guests come back and they stay loyal to our brand and our overall portfolio of brands.
In terms of business outcomes, actually that's really one of the things that we first look at when we start to talk with a client. Why are we here? What's the purpose? How are you going to measure success? And that's one of the things that we look at very, very closely, because very often it's overlooked. And more often than not, there's essentially two main categories. One of them, which is more tied to marketing types of applications, where in terms of returns, they look at metrics. How much additional engagement was generated by this. And given the context of the applications that we make, we don't have the same tools to measure that engagement than the ones that you have for web applications, for example. So it's also developing those tools so they can see the return on investment. The other thing, or the other type of application, is really in terms of creating that wow effect that everybody's looking for. But the wow effect, wow in itself is a very ephemeral concept. It lasts for an instant and then it's gone. But how do we create something that continuously generates that wow effect, that destination that people will go back to? So more often than not, it's on those two aspects that we develop applications.